Last time we finished with the bottom front frame tube and the support tubes. So now let's start working on the back part of the frame. So we're going to go up here and go to top view. Let's start with the top back frame tube, and let's go sketch. Let's select left click on the top plane, left click center point circle, hover over the center, draw that out, and we'll go up here, left click on dimension tool, left click on the diameter of that circle. Let's go 0.73, and let's close that out. Let's left click down here on the bottom of the navigation tube, go to front plane, and let's go over here to sketch and left click on the front plane, left click on the line tool, hover over the center of that plane, left click, draw that out, come up, left click on the dimension tool, left click on the line again, let's go to 18 inches, and let's actually not 18 inches. Let's go over here, left click on sketch, left click on the front plane. Let's draw this out, left click on the line tool, hover over the center, left click, go up, left click again and come out. And then let's go up here to the dimension tool, left click on that, and that'll disengage that third line. We only need two. Let's left click on that line after it highlights, and let's go 8 inches. Alright. I'm going to scroll the mouse wheel, and then I'm going to hold it down to move this. Let's left click after that highlights that line and go 2.5 inches there. There we go. Let's go up here and left click on the sketch fillet tool. Left click on that and come down here and click on that. So I'm going to pull this out just a little bit. That's actually too far. I'm going to use the wheel to scroll in so you can see we're making a curvature here. I'm going to double click on that and go 0.5, so a ½ inch. Alright. So we've got 2.5 inches from that point to that one, and then 8 inches from the bottom to that point. That's what we're looking for. Now let's go back up here and left click on our angle tool. Left click on dimension, left click here, left click after you hover over that line. Alright, we want to go this way, and we want to go 105 degrees. That's what we're looking for. Alright, good. I'm just going to pull this away so it's easier to see that that's the radius of the bin. Let's close that sketch out. Let's go over here to the corner of the navigation cube, left click on that, come over to sweep, left click on the circle we created, make sure it's solid new, go to swept path, left click on that. Now click on that first line. Here's something you've always got to pay attention to when you are sweeping a line with a curved area. Anytime you use that sketch fillet tool to put the radius of the bend in, it's going to create a third line. Even though we only created 2 additionally, we've got to click on that and then click on that one. Alright, good. Let's close that out. Let's do our threads here. Let's go over to this area. Let's go down before we click on it, and let's go by distance. Let's go 2 inches here. Let's just see, because that's 1.5 inches to that point, so it should stop the threads somewhere right around there. Now let's left click on that, and you notice how it put the threads down here at the end. We're going to change the position because that's like its own segment. So we essentially just told it, all right, the other end of that cylinder, place your threads here. Let's left click, close that out. That looks good. Let me open that back up. I just want to look at something. Yeah, it's got, all right, thread length. We need that to be, let's go 2 inches. Because what we're threading into will be an inch. All right, so we've got that threaded. Let's go down here to our thread creator. Let's do this one by distance again. Let's go 2 inches, just like the last one. And we want it to start at the opposite end. So if we click this cylinder, it's essentially representing this as one cylinder. Just like we had 3 lines, we've got 3 different cylinders according to Onshape. So let's left click on that. There's our threads. Let's close it out. And there is our part. So let's right click, go up and rename, and we'll call this the top back frame tube. Let's right click on part 9. Let's go up here and edit appearance. Let's give this a light blue color. Alright, let's go up here to the navigation cube. Let's left click top plane, come over, left click on the sketch, hover over the center, or left click on the top plane, left click center point circle, hover over the center, left click, draw that out, come up to the dimension tool, left click dimension tool, left click on the outside of that circle, go 0.76, hit enter. That'll give us our dimension. Let's close that out. Let's go left click on the dimension tool, left click front plane, left click sketch, left click front plane, left click line tool, hover over the center, left click, draw that out, left click again, come up, select the dimension tool, that deactivates the second line, hover over that line, left click, draw that out, 18 inches. Let's close that sketch out. Let's scroll out, left click on isometric view, come over, left click sweep tool, left click on that circle, left click on swept path, then come over and hover over the line, left click on that. That'll make the cylinder, make sure it's solid new, and then close it out. Let's go over to thread creator, left click, let's go down, let's go distance 2 inches. This is going to create the threads at the bottom. So let's left click on that cylinder, threads will be created. Left click, we're going to come back over, create our thread creator again. Actually, we're going to change something here. I noticed a mistake. And this will be good practice. So if you notice a mistake, I just noticed one. Let's left click on that circle we created. Let's scroll back in. That should be 0.73. Let's go to top view so you can see it better. So left click on that and go 0.73 because we need that to be smaller. Left click, close that out. Left click, let's go to isometric view again. Left click thread creator. We do not want it to be fully threaded. Let's go distance 2 inches. Come over, left click on that cylinder, and since we have the arrow here, those threads are going to form down here. Close that one out. And you'll see that's 0.73. So let's do that again. This time we need to change where the threads are going to be at. So opposite end, come down, distance 2 inches. Come over, click on the cylinder, and close that out. All right, good. So this is going to be, let's right click on part 11, rename. And this is going to be bottom back frame tube. Right click on it again. Let's go up edit appearance. So let's click, make it blue, and let's close that out. Alright, so I'm going to right click on that. I'm going to hit export on part 11. Go ahead and export it. Let's turn part 9 on, right click, and then let's export that one as well. Good. Now let's go to assembly view. Let's go to right view. Let's go insert. Let's scroll down. Let's just do one at a time. Let's do part 9 first. Let's bring it over here. Left click. Let's go back. Let's go ahead and left click on that checkbox. Let's go to top view. Left click on that. Let's rotate it. Get it rotated 90 degrees. I'm going to bring it over here. Get it close to where we want it. Bring it back just a little bit. I'm going to hold the mouse wheel down and move that over. Alright, deactivate that. Let's go to right view, left click, and let's rotate this so that we can get the angle right. Let me zoom in. I want to make sure we got the right angle. That looks pretty good. Let's bring this up. Just want to see how that's fitting in. Let's close that. Let's left click this again and let's bring this in. We'll probably have to move it again. Yeah, right there. Let's left click. There we go. Let's go back to top view. Make sure that looks good there. I'm just going to move it over just a little bit. Make sure everything's even. That looks good. Let's see if it changed anything on right view. Nope. Now, let's go insert. Let's go part 10. Let's bring it over here. Let's close the checkbox. Left click on this and let's rotate that. That should be about 15 degrees too. Let's bring that over here and let that, oh, we've got to go up to top view and bring it over. Alright, there we go. And let's go to right view. Alright, so let's go insert. Let's go to part 11. And let's bring it over here, close. Let's close that out. Let's go up to top view. Let's bring it over, get close to where we were at. Go back to right view. Let's bring it down, over. Let's rotate it 15 degrees. I think we'll probably want to do right there. That looks good. Let's scroll in and kind of see how that looks from here. All right, let's look at that again. It looks a little off. Yeah. Probably have to adjust it. And we'll eventually come in and secure these with some of these mate fasteners. Yeah, that's off. All of these are kind of off a little bit. That's going to be the advantage of these mate fasteners, is we'll be able to get these exact. All right, let's go back up. Let's look at it from top view. Pretty good. Let's go back to right view. Let's go insert. And now we're going to need the bottom front frame tube. Let's go down here, bottom front frame tube. Let's check that. Oops. Let's go insert, bottom front frame tube. Let's bring it over. Let's place it right there. We're gonna have to move it over from top view. Let's hit our check. Come back over. Let's bring it over here. And we'll line it up with the tube in the back. Sorry. Let's bring it up so it's fully threaded in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in while we're here. go back up to top view. Make sure it's in the right location. Let's go up here. Good. That looks good there. Let's go look at it from bottom view or from left view. All right. So I'm going to go in and do these other parts. I won't make you suffer by watching me do the other side. All right. There's one thing I noticed when I was doing assembly view is this part here, part 10, we don't need that. Let's go ahead and delete that out because it is the exact same part we have up here. It's going to allow us to connect those spars out to the hoop and the connection that assembles the hoop. So let's go ahead and bring one of those in. Let's go down and take part 4 and we'll replace something with part 10 later on. So let's go ahead and click on that. Close this out. Let's move this into position. And so when we print, we'll print 2 more of these. All right, that looks good there. Now, let's go up here. And we're going to rotate it around this axis because we want these to turn out. And we'll get the angle later. Let's go ahead and rotate that out. And then we'll move it back into position. Set up once we get it fully assembled. Now we're going to go over and replicate this on the opposite side. All of those parts, part 9, part 11, part 4. I'm going to right click. I'm going to copy these 3 items and then I'm going to come over and I'm going to paste them right here. So they should already be at the angle that I need. I'm going to go ahead and highlight those again. And then I'll move those into place. Get them close to where we need. And that'll save us some time. Go ahead and bring that now here. We'll come over to left view. Let's bring that down. We'll make it match what's on this other side. Alright, that's looking pretty close. Let's just line everything up. Move it forward just a tad. Make sure everything matches. There we go. But I'm going to go up here to top view. And I'm just going to rotate that part all the way around. I'm going to use this axis and you're going to notice it's going to kind of move kind of weird. And then I'll get that lined up. There we go. And then we'll check it from the side view. Alright, we got that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this one. We made that in the last video. I don't know if I'll include it in the video, but I'm going to delete it. And then we'll make us another part 10 to kind of go in there. That'll be our next part. We'll make that the base tube. Actually, let's just rename this to 10. So the next part we create will be part 11. And that'll keep everything organized over here in an orderly. The base tube next. And then we'll do a real world assembly. I guess while we do that, we'll print 2 more part 4s out. Okay, that looks good. Let's go back to front view. We'll leave it here in assembly view and we'll go get those parts printed and get everything chopped together and edited. We don't want them as a single object. Let's move this one over. Let's go up and let's scale it down to 50. And let's just move it over here for now. Let's scale this one down to 50. It's 18 inches long, so it's going to be just smaller than our build surface. So we want to make sure nothing messes it up because it's pretty tall, so it'll shake when it's being printed. So let's left click on this, then right click and go clone. Okay, so we just want one clone. Let's move this one up and then we'll check, make sure it's not touching anything. Let's left click here and pull this around. So I'm just holding down the left button, right click and go clone. Hit OK, and then pull that away. All right, that looks good. I'm going to bring in the top frame tube. I'm going to scale it down and go to 50. If you print it like this, you're going to have a lot of supports. Right click and clone. And let's move that one over. So it's given us a warning, or it will give us a warning. Like if I don't enable supports for this, it's going to tell us that we need them. So I'm going to go ahead and hit normal. I'm going to go preview. All right, it's going to create these supports here. Circles here. These might be fairly easy to clean off, but you're really going to have to clean these threads. Let's try this out. We'll print it this time. If it doesn't work, we may have to lay these down. I'm on a computer that doesn't have my printer here. You would just hit refresh if you know your printer is going to connect to it and it doesn't show. We got PLA and then we would send. And then I'll show you what it looks like once it's done printing.
So there is one of the bottom back frame tubes. These are going to be the top back frame tubes. We're going to have to clean those out. Those are going to be the connection between the two. I'm just going to put that in there for now. These were the supports I was talking about. These are a little bit easier to remove. We just, since that had an overhang, we had to have supports on it. Otherwise it would have drooped. We're going to clean those off. Really going to have to clean off the thread piece it's going to thread in. I'll do that real quick, and then once I get these all cleaned up, I'll show you. We'll assemble everything. So we're going to clean up all the threads that we have, and we'll have to clean out the inside of the threads on part 4. Part 4 was the one where you replaced with part 10, because I realized it did not have the holes for the spars or the pins, and it is the exact same part we had for part 4. So you just print 2 more part 4s off instead of creating part 10, if that wasn't clear in the video. All right, let's go ahead and start to assemble this. So we're gonna put the top back frame tube on. We'll just have a couple of threads go in. We'll take one of these part 4s, run it down. That's where spar's gonna go out to the hoop. And we've already cleaned these off. And then we'll take one of the bottom back frame tubes, run that in. We're gonna use assembly view in conjunction with these real world assembly projects to get the angle correct. So now we'll do the same thing, opposite side. Run that down until we can see at least one thread like we did on the other side. We're using the threads to determine how far they're in, if they're in equally on each side. We can use the thread count. Alright, same thing on the back here. I'm just counting threads, and that'll allow us to get these fairly even. Then we'll put the bottom one in. Good. Everything went together well. May not be perfectly even yet, but we can run those threads in. Now we can actually stand it up and even things out.